Go. So welcome everyone. I think I know pretty much most of you. My name's Lolita and I am a self-empowerment coach. I have been using this FasterEFT process now, which is a defrack tapping process, for about nearly close to 5 years now, after I had a tremendous response to it myself after being very, very ill for a very long time. And as I was saying to someone the other day, that I'm really good at self-isolating. It hasn't been a problem for me at all because I did that for about 11 years. You know, I was not going far from my bed to the bathroom was about, you know, as far as I could get, occasionally out the back door and occasionally down to the supermarket. So really, if any of you want any tips on how to be really good at self-isolating, just ask me. You know, I'm cool. Hasn't really bothered me at all. But I know it has been, you know, and I know this has been really traumatic for so many people. And because I've got this fabulous, fabulous tool, which science now tells us, all the evidence is there, that this is the fastest way to reduce stress and emotions in the body. You know, cortisol levels drop by 42%, the latest research showed. So this is the time, you know, to be able to help people with this tool. So as I said in my last workshop last Friday, I'd been so ill myself and I was really frustrated that I couldn't really help anyone. So as soon as I got well, I thought, what can I do? Okay, so Friday, free workshops every Friday. 1 week it'll be in the morning, 1 week it'll be in the evening, so that people in the UK and the US can join us as well. So I'll be doing that until we need it. It looks like we may be in this for about another month at least. So we'll just keep doing this as it's needed. And, you know, the other thing that I have been thinking about doing for a long time anyway, because for any of you that don't know, I live in Tasmania, this tiny little island down the south there, almost down to Antarctica. It gets pretty cold. It's very cold today. I've got my bed socks on down there. And so when I first started to do the eutaptics training to learn how to be a practitioner, I decided, you know, that working just one-on-one with people wasn't enough. It was fantastic. I loved it. And I saw amazing results with my clients from day one. Complete transformations. You know, their pain was going, their depression, their anxiety, their panic, all these amazing results I was seeing. So I thought, you know, one-to-one is not enough. I've got to reach more people. So I started doing workshops in my community. I started running information sessions to teach people about this process. And then I've always wanted to go online and have some courses. So I thought, I've really got to get my boots on and get going and offer it now. So I'm working on offering a whole heap of different courses. I'm going to make them really affordable for everyone so that they can jump on and do them. My first one I'll be releasing is called my Making Magic Happy Journal. A happy journal is something that we really encourage as you're doing FasterEFT, to retrain the brain to feel happy for no reason. You know, we have a tendency as human beings to, we're hardwired, you know, to be in the fight flight response too much. You know, we're often in fear, we're often, you know, stuck. So I thought, you know, this happy journal is really amazing. And I've already had a workshop that was booked out very quickly. I thought, how can I get this online? So I'm working on that now. And then the next one will be Develop Emotional Resilience, another very successful workshop that I ran here face to face, and I want that to grow. And then the third one will be for couples, you know, any couples, who are in a relationship. I love doing that course. So keep your eye out for those, okay? They're working on them as fast as I can, so let's hope they'll be out soon. I'll let you know. So how I want to start today, I always like to start with a little something to kind of really get us into a nice space, into a nice feeling. So what I want you to do is I'd like everyone just to close your eyes. Just close your eyes. And I want you to bring to mind somebody that you're grateful for today. Someone in your life. Maybe it was someone who helped you to get here tonight. You know, somebody who did something nice for you today. I just want you to notice them and see them there in front of you. And just notice that feeling of gratitude inside of you. And notice where that is in your body. And really step into that feeling. It's such a wonderful feeling, that gratitude feeling. And I want you to make it bigger and bigger. And I want you to send it to them. Send it to that person. And you can probably see them receiving it. Watch them receive it. And they're sending it back to you. And notice how good that feels in your body. And now I want you to take a deep breath in and blow it out. And say peace. Well done. Well done. Now, as we're doing this, I want you to remember, I'm going to do a disclaimer here. I want you to remember that I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a psychiatrist, I'm not a doctor. And what I'm sharing with you today is a stress management tool. It's a relaxation tool. So whatever you do with this tool, it's your responsibility, okay? And the other thing I want you to be mindful of with this process is because we're working with the subconscious mind. I've just got somebody there who's not on mute. Whoever that is, can I get you to mute, please? So we're working with the subconscious mind, which I'm going to talk a little bit more about in a minute. But sometimes what happens is that you may experience what we call abreactions. So like last week we had someone, she was yawning a lot. And every time she does this, she yawns. And that's what we call an abreaction. It's just the body releasing. So this is a mind-body practice. So you'll notice different things may happen in your body, okay? Sometimes people get some aches and pains, you know, their shoulders start hurting or their neck starts hurting, something like that. So I just want you to be aware of that. Also, the other thing that happens is sometimes lots of memories will start surfacing and you might start having really vivid dreams as well. So I just want you to be aware of that, okay, as we go through this process. All right, so what did I need to tell you? First of all, I was hoping that most of you had got a chance to watch the video from last week, because what I wanted to do was pretty much just go forward from there. So last time we talked about the process a little bit more, about our memories. I showed everyone how to tap and why we tap. We talked about abreactions. So what I'm going to do is just spend a couple of minutes and get you to unmute if you have any questions about that. Also, if anybody's here that hasn't done any of this before, you haven't done any tapping, you don't know anything about it, you're just curious, I'm not sure, you know, what's brought you here. So would anyone like to unmute and just ask me any questions, please? because we're going to be doing some tapping. So I need to know that everyone's familiar with it and knows how to do it.
Lolita, I've never done it before. This is my first time. So that's
so
Evelyn.
who am I speaking with?
Evelyn?
Evelyn? Lovely. And you didn't get a chance to watch the video, Evelyn?
No, I've only just finished work. I'm still in my office.
Are you? Oh, thank you for being here. That's okay. So, Evelyn, what made you curious to come tonight? What was it about it that you're curious about?
I just thought it's sort of the timing's very right with this self-isolation and what next, you know. So I just
Yes.
thought the timing was right, that's all.
Yes, timing was right for some stress release.
Just everything, just getting to know what's going on and what tapping is and how does that work, you know, just everything.
Yes,
About
yeah.
it just got me curious, yes.
Okay, excellent, excellent. So how can I fast track this, guys, to somebody who's never done it before, doesn't know anything about it?
You can just do on the screen.
Sorry, can anybody else?
Hi, Lolita.
Hi,
Ratna here.
Pooja. Hi.
This is my first time as well. I have watched a couple of tapping videos, but never experienced it on my own. I know you are a master of it, and I really want to
Oh,
work with you. So if I am
okay.
here, I'm very looking forward to it.
And the thing is, you're both open-minded to it, you know. So you're halfway there. Yeah. So thank you for joining us. Is there anybody else who's unsure about tapping? Would like to know a little bit more? I just want to know what to explain to you before we start.
Hi, Lolita. I haven't actually done it before. It's Kyla here, but I know one of my clients has told me a lot about how you've helped her. So I was just interested to see how I might be able to tell other people about it and maybe head them your way.
Oh, thank you. That's lovely. It's always good to get some good feedback. Okay, so
Alan Raby here. I haven't done
hi,
it either.
Alan.
My partner beside me has, and I haven't watched the video. So
Okay.
I am a newbie curious.
Oh, great. You've got a partner who knows, and, you know, she'll be able to help you. She'll be able to show you. Okay. Now, can I ask your partner, does she do EFT or FasterEFT?
Look, I'm not really sure. It's Lois. I used to come and see you for sessions. I don't know whether you remember.
Oh, yes, Lois. I do.
Yeah.
Lovely to see you.
Yeah, and look, I must say I haven't been practicing, so
That's all right.
I need a bit of a reminder. And in terms of which one I was doing, I'm not really sure. You might remember.
FasterEFT. You did FasterEFT. Okay. So that gives me enough, I think, unless there's anybody else who's unsure. Okay, so EFT stands for Emotional Freedom Technique. Okay, there's lots and lots of different tapping styles, tapping techniques, lots of them. Most people know EFT because it's been very well, advertised. It's been very well, you know, there's been some people who've just really run with it, you know. So the original person who started Emotional Freedom Technique was actually it was before EFT. The first one who started it was a psychologist, and he decided to put together the Chinese medicine of acupressure and talk therapy, and he combined them, and he just found that worked very, very well with his patients. He started seeing results with people, particularly with phobias and fears that he couldn't use any other process for, but he found that this combination worked really well for them. So it sort of really expanded from there, okay? Now the difference so I started with EFT. So when I was very ill, I was introduced to it by my psychologist. But at the time, you know, I was in so much pain. I had a lot of brain fog, and I didn't sort of really see a lot of results. But it does work, and it works very, very well. The FasterEFT process worked so well for me was because it just kind of goes a bit deeper. You know, it goes to the root cause of what your problem is. And my problems were really, oh, what's the word? You know, they were pretty big. There was a lot of trauma, you know, that I had experienced. And it was difficult to find anything to help me. You know, I tried so many different things, and lots of things did absolutely gave me increments of well health. And I got out of bed, you know, I was out of that lockdown self-isolation for the 11 years. That's when I met my lovely friend Kaz, who's with us here. And I definitely had improvement, you know, but I still had this pain every day. And a lot of other issues were still with me as well, you know, like allergies and chemical sensitivities, and lots of foods that I couldn't eat and things like that. So the FasterEFT process was able to help me get to really the root cause of what my suffering was all about. And so I guess the main difference is that with FasterEFT, we only tap on 5 different points. Very, very simple. So I'm going to guide you through it later, but basically you're just tapping here and here and here and here on the collarbone. And then you hold your wrist and you say peace. Okay? So what else can I tell you is the difference? So the main thing we do with FasterEFT is we're working with the brain. We're working with how the brain is creating the problem that you have. So no matter what it is, the problem that you have is a result of all the experiences that you have had since you were in your mother's womb. Now, there's lots and lots of people who are teaching this, who are you know, learning this and researching this. And I'm not sure if anybody has heard about the A study, the Adverse Childhood Experience Study. But what that study has shown is that actually the largest study that's ever been done with the largest number of people over the longest period of time. And what this study showed is that if you had a number of traumatic events, like your parents divorced, you know, one of your parents had a mental illness, one of them was incarcerated, one of them had an addiction. If there was domestic violence, you know, there was trauma in the home, or there was trauma that you experienced. If you tick a lot of those boxes, and you can have a look at this online, there's lots of great information on there. If you've ticked a lot of those boxes, the chances of you having a chronic illness are very high. The chances of you having an addiction are very high. The chances of you suffering with chronic pain is very high. So we know this about the brain, that the brain can do that, okay? It uses this information from the past that we've experienced, and you see on the board up there, I've got a little diagram that I show at my workshops. And what it shows there is why we have problems is from before, while we're in the womb, the brain records everything, every single little thing. And it records it in what you saw, what you heard, what you felt, what you smelt, what you tasted. And it's all recorded in the cortexes of the brain. And so the reason why people are responding the way that they are during this crisis, have any of you noticed that, you know, some people are reacting in panic when other people are quite calm? Has anyone noticed that?
Yeah.
You know, I had lots of my clients, that's another one of the reasons why I decided to do this, is they were messaging me and saying, you know, normally I would be just so anxious and I'd be panicking, but I'm not, because I've been doing this work and I'm so calm and so relaxed. And so what you'll find is the people who are doing the panic buying, you know, fighting over toilet paper, and all these things are the people who've already experienced a lot of fear and trauma and bad stuff, you know, that's happened in their life. And so things can happen back there in the past, but they'll really affect you now in the present. Okay. So, so what we do with the FasterEFT process is, if I have a client who comes to see me and they present with a problem, so say for example, it's depression. You know, they've had this depression for years and they've tried everything and there's nothing that's been able to really help them. And so what I would do is I would ask them some questions. So I'm like a little detective and I go looking for, you know, what's happened in their life since they were born, while they're in the womb onwards, that may have caused a lot of experiences where they felt sad, where they felt unhappy, or they lived with someone who was very unhappy growing up, you know, because that's, the brain records that as well, somebody that you're brought up with. So those first years are crucial in laying down the foundation of what you believe, what you know about yourself, your view of the world, how safe the world is out there, you know, our perceptions, our habits, everything is recorded to keep us safe. It's the brain's job to keep you safe. So to keep that information there and use it to cope with whatever it is that you're facing right now in the present. Okay, does that make sense to everyone? Has anyone got any questions about that? Just unmute yourself and ask me. Everyone okay? Making sense? Good.
I'm just wondering, does EFT address epigenetics?
Sorry, what was that?
Does EFT address epigenetics?
Epigenetics. And who was that I'm speaking with?
Emma.
Emma. Hi, Emma. Oh, yeah, I'm so glad you asked me that, Emma, because I just happen to have this here. Can everyone see that?
Oh, yep.
Yep, the science of tapping. If you can get hold of that, or I'm happy to loan it to you, it's fabulous. And they talk about epigenetics in there, how tapping can help.
So it does tap into cellular memory and behaviour?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay.
And, you know, I see it all the time in clients, you know. I do a lot of work on generational trauma. So I might see a client who has, so their child has anxiety, okay? And they don't know why they have anxiety. They have no idea. They've been to psychiatrists, been to psychologists. They just don't understand why this child has anxiety. And what we've discovered from my questioning them, we discovered that actually the mother is quite anxious, the grandmother is anxious, and the great-grandmother was anxious as well. So this anxiety has come down through the generations. Learned behaviour, yes, absolutely, but also passed down through the genes. But if you want to, if you're interested in epigenetics, the man that I go to, I've got so many mentors and people that I learn from. The man that I learn from about epigenetics is Dr. Bruce Lipton. And he talks about how your genetics plays a very small part. So say, for example, that person with the depression, epigenetics played a very small part in that. It was more her environment. It was more what she learned from when she was in the womb onwards, all the experiences that she had had in her life that led to that depression. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. So really good science there now to back up the tapping and how it can make changes in the brain and how it can make changes in the genes as well. Okay. So what else can I tell you about for the people who don't know about tapping? It's basically what you're doing when you're tapping. So we have a meridian system in the body, and it's all the way through the body. The Chinese have known that for thousands of years. It's a communication highway between the brain and the body. It's there for many, many purposes. And so say, for example, if you go too close to the fire, your brain is going to send a message to your body very quickly to move away, move your body away from that fire. Otherwise, you're going to get burnt, okay? So that's the communication highway between the brain and the body. It's doing it all the time for us to keep us safe, okay? The same thing happens when you feel emotions. The same thing happens when you feel emotions of sadness, of fear, of confusion, of uncertainty, all these emotions that everybody's feeling right now during this global pandemic, okay? We're all feeling it. And so what happens is when you feel those emotions, the brain sends a signal to the body that this is a fearful situation, and it dumps a whole lot of cortisol and adrenaline into your system, okay? And if you don't have a way of processing that, of releasing that from your body, it will stay there and it will accumulate and it will create illness in your body eventually. And that's what happened to me. You know, constant fear, constant sadness, constant feeling bad. And, you know, it affects your immune system. That's the first thing that happened to me. My immune system started to shut down. You know, it had enough. And then it affects your gut, you know, it affects your hormones. It affects every system of your body. So all the reasons that you go to a doctor for, it's chronic stress. It's the result of chronic stress, not just now, but right back there from birth, from when you were in the womb. If your mother was in a very stressful environment, you know, she could have been in a war zone, she could have been in a domestic violence situation, hardship, poverty, any of those things. So so you are in the womb and you're already experiencing a lot of stress. So when people come to see me now about stress, the first thing I do is I go back there. I go back there and ask them, you know, what was stressful for you from the time that you were in the womb onwards? And then I might also, depending on what the problem is, find out what stress their mother, you know, experienced, what stress their father experienced as well, to help them to address that stress and take that load, you know, off the body. So the meridian system, the communication highway between the brain and the body. So why we tap is, I'm feeling really scared, I'm feeling frightened, and I feel that feeling. And when I tap, and when I do the defrack, which I'll explain in a minute, is it interrupts that signal going to the body. It immediately stops it. And that's what all the research shows, is that the cortisol level comes down very quickly. 42%, the last study showed, 42%, the highest that's been shown for any process, quicker than mindfulness, quicker than yoga, quicker than meditation. In anything that's there, the tapping will bring you to that calm, relaxed feeling. Okay, because it stops that signal going from the brain to the body. Okay, so a little bit about the defrack part of things. Now, I know this is going to be very new to most of you, but this is the simplest way that I can explain it. When you're learning things, you learn in fractions, everything. You're learning in little parts and pieces, okay? So remember when you learned to walk as a little baby? You pulled yourself up first, and you did that for quite a while, and then you let go and you took a few steps and you fell, and then you got up and took a few more steps and fell. And now you're just walking around, you don't even think about it, right? So this is how the brain learns everything. When you learnt your times table, when you learned how to drive, when you first learned how to cook scrambled eggs, you know, you got to do it in chunks, okay? So when you look at your life, all the experiences that you've had in your life, you've learnt it all in parts and pieces, okay? And so what defractionation is, which is the main process that we use in FasterEFT, and Robert Smith is the creator of FasterEFT. You can go to FasterEFT.com, join the 5-day free course. It's amazing. It's a life changer for millions of people around the world. Very, very simple process to use. So the defrack process is interrupting that signal going from the brain to the body and scrambling the information that's in the brain so that it no longer needs to use that information anymore to trigger you now in the present, okay? So say, for example, I get very, very, what's the word? I hardly get triggered at all now by certain things. I'm sure most of you there, you get triggered a lot by things, right? It's particularly at the moment. You know, who's been triggered by the uncertainty, about the panic, you know, the fake news, the conspiracy theories, all those things that are happening out there? Will I still have my job? You know, there's so much fear and so much uncertainty, and we're all being triggered by that, okay? If you address the original emotions, the original memories that you had of fear, of stressful events, of panic, of uncertainty, all those things that you're feeling now, if you address those from the past, you are less likely to get triggered now in the present, okay? So you've probably noticed that already, how some people that you'll talk to will be really like panicking, right? Panic buying and a lot of fear. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. It's a very natural, normal thing for all human beings to be experiencing right now, because that's our primary way that we operate. You know, we either go into the fight, flight, or freeze response. So if you address these experiences from the past, and the way we do it with FasterEFT is we address the memories. Okay, that's our key process that we do, is we do memory reconsolidation. So we go back to the memories that are linked to the present problem, and then we use the defrack tapping and able to help the brain to change that. Now, what I'll get you all to do, and this is what I did the last time we were together, is the best way for you to experience that yourself is to actually do it yourself, okay? So what I'll get you to do is close your eyes, and what I want you to do is notice in front of you your front door. Notice the color of it, notice the doorknob on it, and just look at that front door. And what I want you to do now is I want you to change the color of that front door. Just go ahead and change the color of it, any color that you want to give it. And you can even change the door handle if you want. Just go ahead and do that. And now open your eyes. And if someone would like to share with me, just unmute yourself and just share with me what you experienced. What were you able to do? Kyla, you're unmuted already. Were you able to change the color of your door?
Yes.
Awesome. Did you change the knob as well?
No, I just put a different, it was more like a bar type handle just to pull it open.
Okay. Yeah. So you changed the handle and you changed the color of your door.
Yep. Yep.
Now, what did Kyla just do? How did you do that?
I actually run a clinic from home, and I have a specific colour on that door, and I love it. So I changed the colour of my front door to that, and pictured the actual handle that I've got on that door out there, just for easy pulling opening, and
Lovely.
it was an easy vision to get because I already had it.
That's right. So this is what the brain does. Can everybody see that? So your brain has a memory of your door, and then you're able to just go in your brain, find the memory of that door, and then just simply change it.
Yes.
Okay. So that's all we do. We just find a memory that bothers you, and then you're able to use this technique. And we didn't even do any tapping, and it still changed, right?
Yep.
Yep. So what we did then was actually just defrack,
Yes.
defrack. I just asked you to do something and your brain was able to just do it. And it's able to do it because that memory of your door, you already had an imprint in your brain, right? Just like you have a memory of when you were 4 years old and something happened, it's still there as an imprint in your brain.
Yes.
And so if that was an unpleasant memory when you're 4 years old, you can just go in your brain and you can change that memory because it's no longer real, that memory. Okay? How you felt at the time, what you saw and what you heard, all of that was real, but it's no longer real.
Yes.
So does anyone have, that's just a very quick explanation about how memories work. And if you want to know more, I can send you an awesome research studies that have been done into memories. Does anyone have any questions about memories for me that I can clarify for you before we start?
Lolita, it's Amanda. Hello.
Hi, Amanda.
Hello.
My neighbour. Woo.
Hello. I had an interesting one with that's not a question about memory. It was just that it was my front door as a kid with the door handle that I have now, and I really wanted to change the color, but part of me was like, oh, I don't want to change this color. I want to remember what that door was when I was a kid, because it's like 30 years ago, you know. So it was an interesting conflict in my brain to go, I want to change the color, but I don't want to.
Very interesting. So when I said to you, find the image of the color of your door, you went to your childhood one. Is that what happened?
Yes, I did. Yeah. Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, but it had a mixture of the door handle was the door handle that I have now. So it was sort of, it was interesting kind of in my brain going, oh my goodness, memory's blurred.
I'm glad you mentioned that because this is the other phenomenal thing that the brain does. It makes links. You know, it makes links all the time and it gives meaning to those experiences. It gives meaning to it. So Amanda, there's some conflict going on there. She went to her childhood door, not the door that she has right now, but that door handle that you have now you wanted to put on that one. Is that right, Amanda?
No, sorry, it had my childhood door and the door handle I have now.
Yes.
But then when you said to change the colour, it was really difficult for me to change the colour because my memory was trying to go, oh, what was that childhood door like? And I had this beautiful kind of memory in that. And then it was just sort of like, okay, I'm changing it to blue. I'm changing it to blue. But I didn't want, like, there was this conflict. It was this interesting. I haven't had that before.
Very interesting. So what I really wanted everyone to do was look at their door at the moment, present, right? So can you do that now? Can you close your eyes and look at your door now that you're living in, the house that you're living in now? Look at that door.
Yep.
Can you see it?
Yep.
And now can you change the color of that door?
Yep.
Awesome. Simple and easy,
that,
right?
but my brain just went to my childhood door.
Yeah,
Even though you
because
said that,
because
my brain
there's
went to my childhood door.
because there's a link there for some reason. Okay. So, and something about not wanting to change something about that time in your childhood. That's all
Anyway,
it is.
It was just interesting in that memory.
Yes.
The first thing when you said the
Yeah.
door, I went to memory.
Straight to the childhood one.
I missed, and it went straight to the childhood door. So sorry.
So this is no apology. This is what the brain will do, right? And how amazing that you could find that memory even of your childhood, right? So quickly it was there, right? So it's just another example of how we can access our memories so easily. All the information's there, the color, the size, the shape, everything's there, all right? So what we're focused on with FasterEFT is to find the bad stuff, you know, because as Dr. Joe Dispenza tells us, I don't know if any of you follow him, but I've learned so much about the brain from this man. He's just amazing. Now, what he tells us is that we live in the past 24/7, okay? So whatever you're doing now, whatever the choices that you make, the decisions that you make, the habits that you have, everything that you do is because you're living from the past experiences, okay? And so if there are unpleasant things in the past, they keep showing up now. Say, for example, in bad habits, you know, or you just keep losing your job all the time. You just keep marrying the same kind of person, you know. Any of those things that are showing up in your life now will be linked to the experiences that you've had from the past. So if you don't want those anymore, if you don't want that happening anymore, you can just go back, just like you did with your door, find it and change it, okay? Does that make sense to everyone? Yep, cool, awesome. So, all right, so what we're going to do now is actually do some of that, okay? So what I want you to do, and this is really tricky because every time I ask people to just choose something small to work on, they always go and pick something big. So I want you to just choose something really small, maybe something that you're worried about at the moment, about what's happening out there in the world. You know, maybe it was a little argument you've had with someone or whatever it is, but I want you to just choose something really small, okay? Something that's not going to raise your emotions or feelings any higher than about a 5 or 6, all right? And we're going to go through the tapping process. I'm going to guide you, and I'm going to be doing lots of different defrack techniques to help you to change that memory, all right? So what I want you to do is close your eyes. Everyone close your eyes. And what I'd like you to do is just notice your breathing. Notice the rise and fall of your breath as it's coming in and out. Notice the chair underneath you. Notice your feet on the floor. Notice where your hands are. Your shoulders relaxing, just breathing gently in and out. Notice your jaws relaxing and all the muscles in your face are relaxing. And I want you to find that little problem now. Just find it. and notice what you know about it. Notice how it's a problem for you. Notice if it's a feeling. It may be a feeling in your body. It may be an image that you can see. Notice if you hear anything. If someone's there in this problem, can you see the expression on their face? Can you hear the tone of their voice? Look around you and notice what's there, the images that are around you, the colours. Notice if there's any smells, any tastes. And what I want you to do is go to the part that bothers you the most about this little problem. Remember, it's just little, and you're not going to let it go any higher than 5 or 6 in emotions. But go to the part that bothers you the most. And give it a rating. 10 being the highest, in this case 5, 5 being the highest, and 0 being the least. Give it a rating. And now what I want you to do is I want you to see this problem for the very last time. Now imagine in front of you there's a tree, and I've just pulled all the roots out from under that tree. What's going to happen to that tree? It's going to fall over and die and disappear into the earth. And now what I want you to do is open your eyes, and I want you to look at me, and I want you to look up, put your head right up, and now look to the side, look to the right, look to the left, and look down. And now feel your fingertips, starting at the eyebrow point, and just repeat everything I say. I am now releasing and letting go all of my sadnesses, all my fears, and all the emotional trauma. And now the side of the eye. I'm now releasing and letting go all my angers, all the resentments, all the guilt, all the blame, the shame, all this uncertainty, the upheaval, the chaos, this coronavirus. Is it ever going to end? Will I lose my job? Just let it go. Under the eye, releasing and letting go all the judgments, the times I felt abandoned, the times I felt betrayed. On the collarbone, releasing and letting go all the feelings of helplessness, the feelings of hopelessness, the feelings of no control, the powerlessness of this situation, this pandemic. Just let it all go now. And as I let it go, I notice a sense of calm. I notice a sense of peace. I'm okay now. I'm going to make it. This is going to pass. I'm in control. I'm emotionally calm and relaxed. Moving forward with ease. Take a deep breath in and blow it out and say peace. And I want you to hold your wrist and close your eyes and go to a peaceful place. In your mind, just go to a peaceful place, a happy place. See what you see, hear what you hear, feel what you feel. Look around you in this peaceful place. Notice the colours and the images. Notice the smells, the tastes. And feel that feeling in your body of that peaceful place. Feel the feeling where it is in your body and make it stronger and stronger. And send it to you in this memory that you were working on, this problem that you were working on. Send it to you there and see you receiving it and noticing how much better it feels now. And take a deep breath in and blow it out and say, peace, peace. Good job. Okay, now what I'll get, Evelyn, are you still there? No?
Yes, I am.
You're still there?
Yep.
Can you tell me, because this is the first time that you've done this, how did that feel for you doing that as you were doing it?
It created a bit of a diversion. It actually made me feel like I'm sort of a little bit more in control over things, you know?
Yes, yes.
I did feel a bit more in control and calm.
Good. Now, was it difficult for you to choose something?
I chose something really petty, really small, because I
good. Thank you for that.
It's easy to let go.
That's really good. I'm very pleased. So we're going to do some more in a minute, but does anybody else have any questions about that? So what we did then was we did a round of tapping. What we did was we chose the problem that we wanted to work on, because what I want to do is leave you with this to be able to do it yourself in your own time at home, okay? So the aiming part is choosing what it is that you want to work on, right? So it might be, you know, just you're being really bothered by your partner, or you're annoyed with the politicians, or whatever it is, you know, something's bothering you, you know it's bothering you, and you can't sort of really change it, okay, how you're feeling. And so the aiming is the first part that we did. You focused on what the problem was, okay? And then remember I got you to open your eyes and look around. That's the first, what we call the defrack. So when we aim, what we do is we go into the hypnotic state that we were thinking about. When we think about our problem, so with Evelyn, even that little petty one, what happens is the brain goes into like a little hypnotic state. It goes into a trance state, okay? And I used to be really good at that. You know, I'd feel sad about something and I'd stay sad for weeks. I was so good at it because I didn't know how to change that. I didn't know how to stop feeling sad. Sure, I could, you know, think positive things, and I could go and read a book or distract myself, but I still feel sad inside of me. And I would be really good at that. But now that I have this tool, I don't need to feel sad any longer. I don't need to feel sad for more than a few seconds if I choose not to, right? I allow myself to just feel it. And then when I tap, when you're tapping and you're feeling your fingertips, you're also defracking, okay? You're taking your attention away and you're interrupting that signal going from the brain to the body, okay? Does anyone else have any questions about that part? We're going to do some more in a minute. Any questions? Especially for anyone, this is the first time that you've done this.
I have a quick one, Lolita.
Yes.
So is it normal if you have problem that associates with something else that has caused a little bit of stress or something, and it kind of leads to something else?
Yes.
And now this focused one becomes something more.
Yes.
How do you control that? And
Yeah,
can you?
So remember we were talking about how the brain makes those links, like with Amanda with the door, you know? So the brain's always making links. So when you feel sad now, so when I used to feel really sad, and that was really my main problem, you know, in my life. I had this deep, deep sadness inside of me all the time. And I didn't really know what it was. I thought it was because I hadn't had parents most of my life. You know, I lost my mother when I was 2. I lost my dad when I was 15. And I just thought that was why I was sad. And it was partly that, definitely. But I didn't know how to change that. And so even though all those things happened to me from very early childhood, and I would feel sad now in the present, I would think that I was feeling sad because my husband wasn't being loving towards me. I think it was because of, you know, all these other reasons I'd put my sadness down to. But really what my brain was doing was it was remembering all the other sadnesses from the past. Okay, so it links them all up. So if I was working with someone and we were working on that deep sadness, and I've had many clients with that problem, then I would get them to look at all the memories where they felt deep sadness in the past. You know, often there's a lot of grief, you know, losses, things like that. So, yeah, the brain makes links all the time, you know, to food, to fear, to anxiety, to a whole heap of things. Addictions are all about the brain making links, okay? The relationships that we choose are all about the brain making links. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah, thank you.
And how did you find the tapping process doing that?
To be honest, I find it really calming. I used to do it just unconsciously before without knowing that it has such a big impact on the body and the mind and the brain.
Yes.
But now just putting some context behind it makes it more stronger. That,
Oh, wonderful.
yeah,
Wonderful.
so
I'm
definitely
glad.
calming.
I'm glad. Okay, so we've done the aiming part. Everyone's clear about that? You know, choose a little problem that you have. Only focus on it for a little while, all right? And then take your attention away from it completely by opening your eyes, looking around, you know, rolling your eyes around, all kinds of different things you can do. And then you just feel your fingertips and you start tapping. You know, you can even change how many fingers you're tapping with. You can start with like 2 and then change to 1, change to 3, all right? Anything to break that trance of being in that problem is number one, the key to this process. Okay, very different to EFT, very different. Now, the second part we do is I want you to close your eyes again. And I want you to go back to that problem that you were working on. Go back to that. And you notice that it's already changing. It's already feels different, looks different. If you could hear things, they may sound different. Expressions on people's faces may look different. What you heard, what you felt. Just notice all of that. And remember, before you gave it a rating, notice that's already reduced. And now just notice on what's left there. Okay, and give that a rating between whatever it was to now. Give that a rating. Everyone got that? Now open your eyes again. And this time, what we're going to do is a different defrack. Okay, so this time, starting at the eyebrow point and thinking about what's left there, right? And I want you to fake laugh for me. Okay, ready? This problem, it no longer bothers me. And now the side of the eye. This problem, it's gone now. It no longer bothers me. Under the eye. Just letting it all go now. It no longer bothers me. I'm okay. Just letting it all go. On the collarbone. I'm all good now. I'm fine. I stay focused on what I can control. And I feel peaceful. I feel calm. I'm okay now. And take a deep breath in and blow it out and say peace, peace, and feel that peace. Okay. Now open your eyes. Now, Amanda, sorry, can you unmute yourself? Amanda, did you have a question? Or is she going? She might have been waving goodbye. Okay, now, can somebody tell me, first of all, did anybody have any problems finding a happy place, a peaceful place? Anyone? All good? Because sometimes that happens. And if that does happen, I've had lots of clients when they come the first time, they don't have a happy place, they don't have a peaceful place. So you just imagine it, you just make one up, all right? That you're on the beach or you're walking in the forest, something like that. Okay, now, can someone tell me when you went back the second time to check on that problem, how did it change? Would anyone like to share?
There was nothing there. Like, it was just a space, sort of. I thought about it and I thought, what it is, it is. It doesn't matter, you know, one way or the other to me.
So there was peace.
Yeah.
Some peace with it. What was it when you gave it the rating the first time, Jill?
Oh, it was about a 4.
Great. And were you able to like see the images of it and feel the emotions of it? And
yeah, it was. It wasn't a big emotion like, you know, real anger or anything. It was an uncomfortableness.
Okay. And was that uncomfortableness, you could feel that in your body?
Yeah, right here.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. So this is what happens, you know, when you go to that problem in your mind, you know, it shows up in the body. And it's that, so that's why it's really important to tap, okay? Because the body also holds on to memories. And so it's very important to tap on anything that you feel in your body as well, all right?
Yeah.
So now that problem doesn't bother you, Jill, you feel calmer, more relaxed, more peaceful with it.
Yeah. It was one of those things that you can feel uncomfortable because you want to tell somebody something, but you're afraid they're going to get mad at you or, you know, that sort of thing. And then when I went back to it, it was like, it is what it is. And, you know, I might not ever have to say anything, but what if I do, they can't get mad at you for just telling how you feel about it. Do you know what I mean? Like,
okay. So when you went to that problem,
yeah,
could you see the other person in your mind?
Yeah, more sense because I don't visual, even though I feel like I'm a visual person, when I go to visualize something in my mind, it's a feeling, a bit like Robert says,
yes.
You know,
Yeah, good. And that's good to know for everyone. Not everybody has visual pictures in their mind. Okay, small minority of people won't be able to do that. So some people are very visual. They'll see the images very vividly. They'll see the expressions on people's faces, the colors, every detail they'll see. Other people won't. Some people will feel things very strongly, okay, and other people won't. Some people are very auditory. You know, they can still hear their mother shouting at them from when they were 4 years old in their head. They can still hear that, okay? So all of those things we can tap on because they're all part of the memory, okay? What were you going to say, Jill?
I was just thinking it's amazing with the brain. Like I can have dreams that are very visual and I can wake up in the morning and I remember exactly what it looked like and everything. But when you say something, go and see it, I'll close my eyes and I'll say, okay, you're going up the front stairs. I want you to look at the door. And, you know, like I eventually get there where I can sort of see it in the door.
Yeah, really... And the more you practice, so it's just the part of the brain that you've used more, okay? So the more you practice the one that you don't use very often, the stronger it will get. Yeah. So I sometimes have clients who come and they just have had so many bad things happen to them They've gone into freeze and they just don't feel anything. You know, I just don't feel anything. I can't cry. I don't feel sad. I don't feel happy. Nothing, you know, because their brains just shut that part of them down because it's been so bad for them.
Yeah, I had that experience myself. So
yeah, and then other people.
When you go back to the memories, you know, you working with yourself and on my own stuff, in dismantling the memories, I call it sort of dismantling, make peace with it. But more importantly, too, for me was that I was able to forgive myself and forgive the person that was in that memory. So to me, that really let me move forward. You know, like I felt very peaceful then because I wasn't carrying that around anymore.
Yeah, yeah, wonderful, wonderful. Okay. So I'm just going to close that chat there. That's it. Anybody else? Any questions about that little process? We've still got a little bit more to do, but I'm just wanting to take you through it little bit by little bit and answer any questions that you have about it. Was there anyone else who worked on something and it hasn't changed at all? Is there anyone? And there's no, you can't get this wrong, okay? Everyone's brains does things differently. Is there anyone you're working on something and it hasn't, nothing's changed at all? I'll be very surprised. And
Lolita, it's Kyla here.
Hi, Kyla.
I just had one question.
Yes.
We've had the property wellness doctor doing some stuff here with us on the property, and he's picked up some things with me. And some of that, I have no recollection of, because he's saying, oh, something happened to you 50 years ago. So that would bring it back to me being in utero. So I don't know how to sort of clear that from me, because that seems to be a sticking point. It keeps coming up. And I'd really like to clear that, but I'm just not sure how to do it.
Okay. Can everyone bear with me while I help Kyla? And it will help you as well. Okay. So first of all, we always ask the question, how do you know that that's a problem for you, Kyla?
It's just something that keeps coming back up every time Pete comes to clear the property and clear the house. And he's working with us. It keeps coming back up that it's with the problems with me.
When you say, so I'm a little bit confused. When you say somebody comes there to clear your property, clear your house, what do you mean?
Yeah, he's a property wellness doctor. So he'll come and heal your property and your land and everything else, like get rid of ghosties and all that sort of stuff.
And how does he do that?
Various techniques. I'm not sure exactly how it is, but yeah, he uses essences and things to clear any, underwater rivers and things that might be sick.
And did you say he keeps coming back?
No, well, he comes back to do top-ups. Like, it's been over a couple of years, but each time it has come up when there's been something attached, like I have an attachment to me, and it comes back to a time that is back when I can only put, given the time frame, that it was when I was in utero. So it's something that happened when I was in the womb.
And he tells you this. So this is what he sort of picks up with what tools he's using.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And when he tells you that, how do you feel about it? So he's told you several times this is something in utero. Something that happened 50 years ago.
Time frame, So he helps to clear what was going on or what's the attachment it has with me, and I do get a huge feeling of relief. But I was just wondering if there's something that I could be doing to
help
stop that coming back.
If he's worked on it and you get a huge feeling of relief, why is it a problem? How is it a problem?
It appears to come back again. For some reason, it's coming back.
And this part.
So
how do you know it comes back? What happens? it comes back?
No, well, when he
It only comes back when he comes back and tests you.
No, I'll start having funny dreams and things again, and that I can't remember, but I wake up with a feeling, just a bad feeling, things like that start happening again, and then it comes to light when the property's been cleared again and things like that. But,
all right. So before he comes back, you're having these dreams.
Yeah.
You're having these feelings.
Sleepless
nights. Yeah. And you know that it's something to do with what happened 50 years ago in utero.
I can only assume that that's it, because it only comes to light that that's it because when he comes back and he checks me as part of the property check and everything like that, it'll rise up again.
Yeah, yes, okay.
And right. I'll be fine for 6-12 months.
Right.
But then it'll just surface again.
Okay. So would you like me to help you clear that?
You to help me.
All right. So everyone, what you can do, this is the part that's borrowing the benefits. Okay. I posted a little video about mirror neurons and about borrowing the benefits. It's when somebody shares what they are going through, what they're feeling, we also feel those feelings. Exactly the same feelings as human beings. We've experienced those feelings at some time, right? Sleepless nights, worrying, bad dreams, all those things, right? And so what I want you all to do is you choose something as well and tap along with me as I help Kyla to clear this, okay? Everyone okay with that? All right, so Kyla, what I want you to do is just close your eyes. And I want you to just go back to this problem and notice how you know you've got it. So this property doctor, he comes and he clears the property, clears the house, and he tells you there's something with you. There's an attachment issue with you, and it's been there with you since the womb. It's got to be the womb because it was 50 years ago, right? And he clears it and you have such relief. But then it comes back. It comes back. And you know it comes back because you have the dreams. You have the feeling, the sleepless nights. That every 6 to 12 months, it's there. So I want you to notice that. Notice how you know that it's there, it's come back. And notice how it bothers you. You may see images, you may see colors, you may see faces, it may be feeling in your body. Just notice how that bothers you. And what I want you to do is in your mind, I want you to take yourself back 50 years, back to the womb. And just notice what you know there. Something about attachment, something he clears and you get the relief. So be in that time in your life, be in that memory, see yourself there in the womb. And notice how strong it is. How strong is that?
Very.
Good. And is that stronger than when it comes back?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. So notice how it's strong. Notice how it bothers you. Okay. And see it for the last time now. The very last time. Now, imagine in front of you a sandcastle. Everyone, imagine that sandcastle on the beach and the waves come in. What's going to happen to the sandcastle?
Get washed away.
Washed away, back out into the ocean. And it's going to take this problem with it, Kyla. Can you see that? Good?
Yep.
Okay. Now open your eyes and I want you to look up and look to the right, look to the left, look down and look at me. Everyone do the same. Look at me. I want you to roll your eyes around this way and that way. And now feeling your fingertips, everyone. tapping on the eyebrow point and just repeating everything I say, Carla.
Yep.
I'm now eliminating
I'm now eliminating
all of my sadnesses,
my sadnesses,
all my fears,
all
the emotional trauma,
the emotional trauma,
all the ways I know I have this problem,
all the ways I know I have this
all
problem,
the ways it keeps coming back,
the ways it keeps coming back,
the dreams,
the
sleepless nights, this problem from the womb, letting it all go now.
letting it all go now,
Now the side of the eye, releasing and letting go.
releasing, letting go,
All my angers, resentments, or the guilt, the blame, this belief, his belief, my belief, the images, the colours, these memories, just letting them go now. Under the eye, releasing and letting go. All the judgments, criticisms, all the thoughts about this problem, the dreams, the sleepless nights, all the ways it comes back. I no longer need it. I'm letting it go now. On the collarbone, releasing and letting go. All the feelings of helplessness, feelings of hopelessness, feelings of no control, this problem. Just letting it all go now. I'm okay. Take a deep breath in, blow it out, and say peace. Hold your wrist, give it a couple little squeezes, and go to that happy place. Go to your peaceful place. See what you see, hear what you hear, feel the feeling in your body. Good job. What is your peaceful place, Carla?
My newly renovated clinic.
Sorry, what was that?
My newly renovated clinic.
Oh, lovely, lovely. And what makes it so good?
It's the good feelings I get of the people that I can help when we can actually open again.
Yes, yes.
Bring it on.
Can't touch anyone.
It's been hard to massage from 1.5 meters away.
It is, isn't it? You could get one of those scratchy hand things, you know.
I think so.
Okay, so that's good. It's a good feeling. And that's really important, everyone, that you make it really good, because that's, again, another defrack. Okay, when you go to your happy feeling, that's defracking you out of the trance of the problem.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now we're going to go back and check it. We haven't finished yet. Going to go back and check it. This is the really important part, guys. Yep. When you're tapping, you've got to make sure that you do this. All right. Yep. So now I want you to close your eyes and go back to the problem. Everyone do the same. Go back to your problem. And you'll notice that it's already changed. It already feels different. It'll look different. You'll see it differently. So what I want you to do, Kyla, is go back to when you said it was the strongest when you're in the womb.
Yep.
So when you're back there now, what's happening? What's changed? What's different?
It just seems a lot clearer.
So can you describe a little bit what was happening before? It's an attachment problem, right?
Yeah, I can only assume I felt quite tight in my lungs, and I can only assume that was because my mother was a heavy smoker. Right. And I felt quite tight in my chest.
Okay.
And I don't feel that now.
So you were in the womb.
Yeah.
You could see yourself in the womb.
Yes.
And you just felt a tightness in your chest.
Yes.
And you no longer feel that.
No.
Okay. Now go to what this man said to you.
Yep.
And it comes back. And notice how much it bothers you when it comes back. Uh-huh. The dreams, the feelings, the sleeplessness, 6 to 12 months.
Uh-huh.
That part of it, what bothers you there? Hear him saying that to you. Listen to him as he's saying to you. He's checking the properties, checking the house. He comes back. He says to you, it's with you, Kyle. It's attachment.
Yeah.
what's happening there?
That's not bothering me at the moment.
How do you know that?
When I thought about that before, I started to tighten in the chest again, and I can hear that, but I'm not tightening in the chest at all.
So hear him saying it to you again, hear his voice.
Yep.
And see him doing it, and what he does, he clears it, you get the relief, but then it comes back. What's happening now?
I'm thinking more about the relief I had when he cleared me.
Okay.
I'm not thinking about the tightness or anything that I felt about having the attachment. I'm thinking more about the feeling I got when he released that attachment from me.
Okay, good. And so notice that release.
Yep.
And notice that tightness is no longer there in your chest.
Yep. Yep.
Now step forward to 6 months' time, 12 months in your mind.
Yep.
And what's happening there?
I'm sitting on my ride-on mower, burning around the paddock.
But he's come to check the property again. He's come to check the house again. And he comes to check you.
Yep.
He comes to you. He checks you. What's happening?
Nothing.
You sure?
Yep.
Positive.
Absolutely positive.
What does he say to you instead?
He's just smiling.
Is he curious?
Having a laugh.
He's having a laugh.
Yeah.
It's no longer there, Kyle. It's gone.
Yeah. What did you do, basically? I reckon was what he'd be thinking.
And just notice how it never comes back now.
Yeah.
Notice how it never comes back.
Yeah.
How does that feel?
Amazing.
Good, good. So that's the feeling that you're going to keep now, okay?
Yep.
And
definitely.
you're going to practice that. You're going to
Yes.
practice that good feeling.
Mm.
All right. Good job. Take a deep
Thank
breath
you.
in, blow it out. Say peace. Good job.
Beautiful.
Wonderful. Well
Thank you.
done. Well
Thank you
done.
for putting up with me, everyone.
It's a pleasure. It was a pleasure. How did everyone else go? How did you go borrowing the benefits? Could everybody relate to that? Could you feel any of it? Could you feel any compassion, empathy, care? Yes? Good. Would anyone like to share anything with us?
I just like the look on her face when it changes in her mind.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
you can see it on people's faces. It's
Yes.
just nice.
Yes.
There was a little note I noticed down here, Lolita, but I think he may have gone.
Right.
Wanted to go, and he said, I need some tapping now, but I think he's gone. Don't see his name anymore.
Okay. Do you know who it was from?
Was there a J or someone like that, a very short name?
Yep. Okay. Yeah, no, that's fine. Thank you. Okay, so I want to finish off now. If no one's got anything really burning questions, I want to finish off leaving you feeling really good. Now, if there's anything left with what you were working on, please just keep doing the tapping, okay? Keep tapping. And if you watch the videos on the FasterEFT, that will clarify the tapping process for you even more. Excuse me, pussycat, hop down, please.
I've written down the websites on the chat if anybody wants.
Thank you. So the most important thing is that you just keep tapping on whatever it was, if it's not. So did you notice with Kyla how it was completely resolved? Right? She felt different. She saw it differently. Everything changed. That's what you want to happen with your problem. And everyone will do it differently. Okay? Everyone will hold whatever their problem is in their mind completely differently. Okay? So what I wanted to quickly just mention is the different ways to use the tapping. And I would encourage you, so if you want to work with me, there's several ways you can do it. You can have a free 30-minute session where we just have a chat about getting to know each other. We have a little chat about what it is that you want to work on, and I just explain a few processes to you. I offer, particularly now, I've been doing lots of them, is 30-minute sessions. I call them my turbo tapping sessions. And they're laser focused. You know, you have a problem, I can help you change it really quickly like we did with Kyla. How long did that take, Kyla? Probably 5 minutes.
5 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, super fast. I can help you change any problem really, really fast. So you've got the 30-minute one. Some people like an hour session because they're very fatigued, they're tired, they're in a lot of pain, so they may need an hour session. Most of my sessions are 2 hours. Thanks, Evelyn. Bye. So most of my sessions, I recommend 2 hours. They're very intensive. You know, we go in and we look for all the roots of that problem and I help you to resolve it. Okay. The other ways you can work with me is to, you know, do the courses once I've got those going. Follow me on Instagram. I've only just joined. I've no idea what I'm doing. I'm learning. I've got a few videos on YouTube. I'm hoping to add to that. And so the other thing that I like to do is I like to help people to refine their tapping process. You know, I work with a lot of practitioners. I work with a lot of people who've been tapping for quite a while and they're still kind of unsure how to do it. So I like to help them to really refine their tapping, to make it the most effective for them, to help them the most, because everyone does it differently in their minds. So I want to help them to find a system, a way that helps them to do it quickly. So some of the things that I do is I do what I call, so if you're dealing with physical pain, for example, this tapping works really well for physical pain because that's what I had, right? Chronic pain for 17 years. Not a day of pain since then, except when I dislocated my shoulder. That was a bit different. So if you're working on pain, if you know anybody who's in pain, please recommend this for them. It's fantastic. But there's a little process that you can use for tapping on symptoms and discomfort and pain. And I can teach you how to do that. Okay, it's called submodality tapping. What we normally do is heat of the moment tapping. That's what most of you are going to be doing. It's, I feel like this, or I've been triggered by this, and I don't want to feel like that. So I just do tapping straight away. That's heat of the moment tapping. The other way to tap is you forget to do it in the heat of the moment, right? And it's still bothering you the next day. You sit down then and you do it. And that's reflective tapping. So you can still do it. The brain still remembers it. So you can just bring it to mind. You know, say it was that argument that you had a few days ago and it's still bothering you. It's not bothering the other person, but it's bothering you. So you can sit down and you can tap on it, okay? Now, the other one is called project tapping. So I have lots of clients who come to see me and they go, I've got a really terrible relationship with my mother. You know, it's all my mother's fault that I'm like this. And so I say to them, you do some project tapping, you know, write down dot points of all the memories, all the bad memories that you had with your mother, and you tap on those. And you will feel different, you know, and your mother might feel different as well. And that's surrogate tapping. So surrogate tapping I love to help people do is, you know, I have a loved one, they've got lots of problems that are affecting me, but they won't change. They won't tap, they won't do anything. But I always feel it, you know. And so I do the tapping for them, okay? And I can send you some information on that. That's really, really amazing. I use it a lot, surrogate tapping. And it always works. Never let me down. And so what else is there? There's also positive tapping, where you can just tap on all the great stuff. You know, I'm so happy. I'm so grateful. I'm so joyful. I'm alive, and I'm so grateful to be alive. So positive tapping, you can do that. I've got lots of clients at the moment, they're singing their affirmations, you know, just making up their affirmation about whatever it is, and they sing and tap it in. And that's really cool as well. All right. What else can we do? Working on your memories. So picking out specific memories that you're not happy with, you can tap on those and transform them, change them. Okay, good. So I think that's pretty much it. So every Friday I'm going to be doing this, mornings 1 week, evenings the other week. All right, so just tell your friends, come along please, and you'll learn something different each time. I hope so anyway. Now, how we're going to finish off is, I want you to just close your eyes. And I want you to think into the future. I want you to see yourself in the future now. It might be days, it might be weeks, it might be months ahead of you. And I want you to see what it is that you want for yourself. What do you want in your life? Do you want more happiness, more joy, more calm, more peace? You might want to wake up and the coronavirus is gone, you know, lots of money in the bank, whatever it is that you want that makes you feel really good. I want you to step into that and see it and feel it and hear it, the smells and the tastes. Notice the colours and the images and how good that feels. And notice where you feel it in your body and make it really strong, that feeling. Make it stronger and stronger. Notice you can spin it. Spin that feeling in one direction or the other, and just notice it getting bigger and bigger. This is your life. This is what you want, what you can have. And as you feel that feeling, I want you to notice just how good it feels inside of you. And as you travel forward now into your life, notice how much better it feels in the days and the weeks and the months ahead of you. And just notice how you're emotionally in control now, how peaceful you are, how calm you are. And as you do, notice your friends and your family, everything, everyone around you changes as you change, and it gets better and better and better. And now take a deep breath in and blow it out and say peace. Peace. Good job. Good job. Well done, guys. So unmute yourself if you've got any questions, anything to say before we finish off. We've gone a little bit over.
No, just thank you very much, Lolita. That was lovely. It was good.
Thank you, Jill. Thanks for helping me out.
Yeah,
Awesome.
Thank you so much, Lolita. That was amazing. And that person that was wanting to talk to you before was Jay Chipman.
Yeah, that's right. And let me know, Kyla, how you go in a few days, yep. how you feel. All Beautiful. Right. Yep. Anyone else? Any last chance? Anyone who hasn't done this before or not familiar with it? If you've got any questions, time to clear anything up before you go.
Or come back next Friday.
Yes. So, Alan, how were you?
I was fine. I did those things, and I can feel the benefit. I'm just nodding in agreement.
Can you? What benefit did you feel? Can you share that with us?
No. I took my
That's,
two
and
problems.
that's okay. No, I meant, did you feel, did you feel calmer? Did you feel more peaceful, happy, anything like that? That's what I meant.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good. So that's the benefit, right?
Yes.
Thank you so much. Anyone else? Pooja, how did you go, honey?
I loved it. It was amazing. I knew it was going to be like that with you, honey. Totally enjoyed it. And yeah, feeling really calm, collected, positive. And I'm really glad that I learned something new that I never knew existed. And it was so easy to, make
Very easy,
that
isn't
in
it?
life.
And is
Very
it
grateful for that. Thank you.
Is it good to know that you can have this really simple tool, that you're going to always have it? You know, I say to people, use it like your toothbrush. You know, tap every day. I tapped every day when I first learned how to do this. And, you know, I know that I'm going to be tapping until I die. It's not like, you know, I just tap on my problems and they go away and that's it. We're always going to have problems. You know, so
this is probably a silly question. Is there a too much tapping? Like,
I don't think so. But Robert does talk about, you know, avoiding. He talks a lot about how we as human beings do a lot of avoiding, a lot of running away from our problems. And we do that mostly because we don't know what to do, right? We don't know how to solve them. Nobody's taught us how to address our problems, how to address our emotions. So we tend to run away from them. So what he says is sometimes you can use the tapping as a way of avoiding the problem. As people do yoga, they use yoga to avoid their problem. They use meditation to avoid their problem. So you definitely can use tapping as that as well. Good question.
Thank you. I'll
You're
see you
welcome.
next Friday, yeah?
It's so lovely to have New Zealand here with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. I look forward to it. Love to the family.
100%. Bye. You take care.
Thank you. Anyone else? Kaz, how are you going there?
Been hiding in the background.
Everyone's been hiding to me. I wish I could see everyone, but you can't. How did you go, sweetie?
Yeah, look, I had something really frustrating me, and by the end of it, I can't wipe the smile off my face. So I'm just looking at it as a happy thing. Like, I'm not letting it bother me. It's washing over me.
Fantastic. Well done, you. We don't want frustration to hang around, do we? You know? Look, I made a commitment to myself when I started doing this, and I saw how simple and easy it was to use to change the state of mind that I'd be in, to change the mood that I was in. I just made this commitment to myself, and I think it was because I was miserable for so long. I was unhappy and I was sad for so long in my life. I thought, you know, that's it. I am not going to feel sad, miserable, angry, frustrated, or any of those things that I don't want to feel for very long. Like, nip it in the bud really fast, Lolita. You know, you don't have to feel like that anymore. And so that's what I do now. As soon as I notice any emotion that I do not like, I don't want to feel like that anymore, I just tap straight away. And it just goes really quickly. You know, we don't have to stay feeling frustrated for very long, angry, unhappy, or any of those things. This changes it really quickly. So thank you for sharing that with us. It's awesome. I'm so pleased. Keep that smile. It's a beautiful smile. Smile more. Anyone else out there that I can't see have any questions before we go? I'll be sending the recording out to everyone that's registered.
Thank you, Lolita.
You're so welcome. I love those smiles. And as Jill once said, after a session, she walked out and she said everyone thought she looked, 17 or something, Jill?
I was 15. Get it right. Seriously, I was like resolved memory, and it took me back to when I was like 15, and then I did go to yoga afterwards, not for escape, but just to relax. And then I went to work, and I just looked so young, and everyone was going, "Oh my God, what happened to you?" You know, and it's such a good thing, and it does make you younger. I tell you now, I mean, people lose 10 years off their life,
Yes.
especially if you watch the videos with Robert. They'll come up there and they're just so in a trance, and they're so, oh, you know, I'm terrible and nobody likes me and everything. And then they start laughing because he makes them laugh half the way through, because they see how ridiculous we all get, trapped in our own little trance. And you know, what's the chances of us really being like that? How do we know that's true? It was just our whole experiences and our whole life that gave us those proofs. So
and what I love is when you watch those videos and then you go and watch them being interviewed maybe 6 months later, and they look totally different. A lot of them have lost a lot of weight.
Yeah,
you know, and they look younger. Yes, yes.
Potential, and that's the beautiful.
Quite amazing.
This. It's a really great tool, and I work in mental health. It's a fantastic tool to get, you know, to see your problems objectively and to get in there and change them and put in there what you want. Be the person that you want to be, you know.
Jill's doing the training. So if anyone's interested in doing the training to enhance, you know, your practice that you're already doing, or just to work on yourself, have a look at that as well. It's called You Tactics the Training. I'm ready to do my level 4 now. I'm very excited about that. And the thing that I love about the training is that you not only get to work on your own stuff, you know, you're doing that all the time. You get to, you know,
practice
work
with each other too.
Yeah, yes, and you get to work with other people. You get to, you know, support other people to make changes as well. So it's really, really super. You know, I was a counsellor, and I never had that kind of tool when I was counselling. You know, and I know psychologists and psychiatrists, people, they just don't get that working on themselves as well, on their own problems. You get to transform that, you know. So the training, I can't highly recommend it enough. It's really amazing. All right, so it's Friday night. Who's going off to do something fun? Anyone? What are you going to do tonight? Go and have some fun. I'm going to go and have my special treat.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye. Bye. Bye, lovely.